There's a person in your life right now who makes your blood boil for reasons you can't fully explain. Not because of what they did, because of who you are. And I need to tell you something up front before I say anything else, because this idea gets weaponized constantly, and I'm not going to let that happen in this video. What I'm about to explain does not mean every difficult person in your life is secretly your mirror. And it does not mean you're responsible for how someone else treats you. If someone is abusive, cruel, or dishonest with you, that's on them. Full stop. Nothing in this video says otherwise. What it does explain is something narrower and honestly more useful. Why certain people doing far smaller things get under your skin in a way that seems out of proportion to what actually happened. That's Jung's shadow. Let's go. Carl Jung spent decades studying the parts of ourselves we don't consciously claim. He called it the shadow, not evil, just unknown. Every trait that got you punished, shamed, or shut down as a kid, anger, need, ambition, even joy or softness, doesn't happen because the trait was actually bad. It happens because it got treated as unsafe. So it goes underground. You stop expressing it. Eventually, you stop even recognizing it as yours. But it doesn't stay quiet. Jung's theory was that what you refuse to see yourself, you start seeing everywhere else. That's called projection. And it's not a metaphor. It's a documented defense mechanism in modern psychology, going back to Freud and confirmed repeatedly since in clinical work. The mind will rather locate an uncomfortable trait out there in someone else than sit with the discomfort of owning it. Here's what that actually looks like close up. Someone's confidence reads to you as arrogance. Ask what happened the last time you tried to take up space like that. Someone's boundary setting reads to you as coldness. Ask what it cost you to learn that saying no was dangerous. That's rarely actually a verdict on them. That's the exact trait you buried, showing up in someone brave enough to still have it. None of this means the behavior around it was fine to see through, in cases where it actually crossed into contempt or disrespect. Understanding where a reaction comes from doesn't make it okay for the person on the receiving end to just absorb it. It just tells you the truth about where the reaction actually originated, which is never almost the moment it landed on. The intensity of the reaction is the clue. Mild annoyance is usually just about them. A reaction that feels disproportionate, that's usually about them running away from something in themselves. Here's the part that makes this more than just a theory. Your nervous system doesn't fail. That reminds me of my own disowned trait as a calm, intellectual thought. It fires the same threat response as danger, elevated heart rate, tight chest, the urge to attack or disappear. Some researchers have pointed to the mirror neurons, brain cells that activate both when you act and when you watch someone else act, as part of why we are wired to resonate so strongly with what we witness in other people. I'll be honest with you, mirror neurons get overhyped constantly in pop psychology, and the science on exactly how much they explain human empathy and reactivity is still actively debated. So I'm not going to oversell that one to you. What's not up for debate is simpler. You have been trained since childhood to react to certain traits as dangerous because at some point, expressing them got you punished, abandoned, humiliated, or unloved. Your body remembers that training long after your conscious mind has forgotten the original lesson. That person isn't creating the reaction. They're just the first thing in years to walk close enough to trip the wire. Jesus put it about as bluntly as it can be put. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? That's not a gentle metaphor. That's a direct accusation about exactly this mechanism. The thing you're most offended by in someone else is often the thing you refuse to examine in yourself. Buddhism frames it through the three poisons: attachment, aversion, and ignorance, and teaches that strong aversion to a quality in another person is almost always a signal pointing back at your own unexamined mind, not a neutral, objective judgment about them. In the Islamic tradition, there is a strong emphasis on muhasabah, self-accounting, examining your own soul before you examine others. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said that the strongest among you is not the one who overpowers others, but the one who controls himself when angry. The anger itself is treated as information, not just an obstacle. Rumi, again, said a deeper version of this, better than a psychology textbook ever could. The wound is the place where the light enters you. The thing you're avoiding looking at isn't your enemy. It's where the growth is actually waiting. Now, and I mean this, here's where shadow work gets misused constantly online. So pay attention to this part as closely as anything else in this video. Shadow work is not a tool for talking yourself into staying in a harmful relationship because they're just mirroring my wounds. It's not a tool for absorbing blame that isn't yours. Genuine cruelty, manipulation, and abuse are not your shadow calling. They're someone else's choice. If you use this framework to excuse someone's harmful behavior towards you, you've turned a tool for self-awareness into a tool for self-abandonment. And that's the opposite of what Jung was pointing at. This framework is for the friend whose success makes you feel small for no clear reason. The stranger whose confidence makes you want to roll your eyes. The family member whose neediness makes you want to run. Not for the person who is actually hurting you. One missed good night or good morning text turns into a full emotional storm about what a terrible partner you supposedly are. That's really actually about the text. That's fear of abandonment wearing an accusation as a disguise. Because I'm afraid you don't love me feels far more dangerous to say out loud than "you terrible." That's the pattern. Every time. Not a surface complaint. The fear underneath it. Borrowing someone else's face to hide in. So here's the actual usable version of all of this. Next time someone gets under your skin in a way that feels bigger than the moment deserves, pause before you decide it's entirely about them. Ask one question. What does this person get to be that I never let myself be? That question alone will tell you more about your own unfinished business than a year of resenting them quietly ever will. You are not surrounded by difficult people by accident. You are surrounded by a very precise, very uncomfortable curriculum showing you, one interaction at a time, exactly what you've been carrying and calling someone else's problem. Comment the trait that irritates you most about other people. I guarantee some of you are about to learn something uncomfortable about yourselves in the replies. And if this helped you see someone or yourself a little differently, subscribe, because tomorrow we're going even deeper. How unhealed shadow doesn't just distort what you see in other people. It quietly writes the story of who you let yourself become. I'll see you there.